Hello.
All right. Wow. Welcome to The Harvest, podcast number 2, where we talk everything cinema, story, and as we grow, you grow. As we learn, you learn. My name is Xavier Garcia.
I'm Jonathan Garcia.
And in this episode, we're going to talk about COVID-19.
Oh, gosh.
Some self-care and some me time during the coronavirus, quarantine. We're also going to talk about something new that we're going to start implementing. We're going to talk the Hans trailer review sessions.
The Hans meter.
The Hansometer.
Oh, even better.
And then we'll explain how that breaks down. Cool. Let's get started.
Let's do it.
All right. So, COVID-19. Now, I'm not going to get into any of the politics of this. I don't know that this is necessarily the place. This show is the place for that, but I do want to talk a little bit about we as creatives and what we can do during this time. What are you doing during your quarantine besides being here right now?
What am I not doing? I mean, I've realized that there's a lot of stuff that I haven't been focusing on. Great, opportunities for tutorials. I mean, I've even gone as far as looking into my future of investment,
so
and stocks.
Investing in
stocks, I'm trying to learn all this stuff because, 1 minute, you got everything focusing in the filmmaking industry, and then, that falls down. Like, what do you have, to support yourself with? So diversifying your portfolio.
Literally.
Yes.
Even in
during the coronavirus.
So yeah, it's a good point that you bring up, and something that we've been noticing amongst a lot of our friends that are creatives that are in not just in the filmmaking industry, but even in the events making industry, which is something that, before we were doing narrative filmmaking, we were heavily involved in creating content for the event world, and creating content for event booths, like, for example, some of the stuff that we did for George B. Johnson, some of the stuff that we did for Saks Exhibits, where we created, films and storified commercials for companies like WestRock and Saucony. That the events industry is hurting right now, big time. Yeah, which they're creatives too. It's a different type of storytelling, but it's storytelling nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. We have friends in the industry that are struggling. But they know when hard times come, you have to innovate. You have to think of new ideas. And, necessity is the mother of inventions. So you got to try new things. And it's not so much that you go with the climate. You just try to reinvent, new ideas on how to become productive or successful. Yeah,
it's interesting because in our industry, and I'm looking at it from the storytelling perspective, as creatives that tell stories, storytelling is as old as time. It's the gathering around the campfire and telling stories. I mean, we can go back to Neanderthal times to talk about the beginning of humanity, telling each other stories in order to push culture forward, in order to warn each other, about certain threats in and around them. And so it's not that storytelling is going to go away. It's just the way that we get the message and the story out there has to change as times change. And so as obstacles come our way and things shift, we sort of have to shift and grow along with it in order for us to, tell the stories that will continue to push forward culture, that continue to push forward people, time. So yeah, I'm interested, to say the least, in what this is going to do with the events world, because I don't know, we've been noticing even with some of our event making friends, a lot of it is going into virtual online events. And that's like, okay, wow, some of these talks, some of these film festivals, some of these major gatherings and presentations are now turning into virtual presentations and gatherings. That to me is exciting and interesting. I wonder how that's going to impact filmmaking.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. I remember when, for instance, streaming websites like Twitch came about, and you thought, who's going to watch anyone playing video games? I'd rather play them. Why would I ever watch them? But it's now booming. It's a booming industry.
It's crazy.
And so you have to think, you have no idea what's the next boom.
Right.
So for streaming events, I mean, why not? You know, people are going to realize that, you know, this is a great opportunity for me to be safe at home with my family and watch, you know, the new up and coming whatever it is.
Oh, I mean, we're already watching everything and anything. I mean, consumption is wild. Some of the stuff, for example, that's popping up on TikTok, we're just watching people literally stand there, take a bite of an apple, you know, toss a water bottle, and they go viral, you know? And so we're already doing that. So why not organize that world, you know, and, you know, and monetize it?
Right. And you'll realize that there'll be value to some of the things that you end up coming in front of, like figuring out, you know?
Agreed.
So what are you doing during this time?
I haven't gotten quite intense with you know, investments and stocks and bonds and all that good stuff. I want to. Don't know. I want to. And I'm sure that eventually, as you lead the charge and inspire me, I'm probably going to go down that same path.
I will probably lead you nowhere because I know nothing.
But I am definitely taking the time to read a lot. So at the beginning of the year, I gave myself a goal, you know, to read, and I at first I wasn't sure, you know, what was appropriate based on this year, you know, with everything else that's going on, with all the stories and the writing that we're doing and the productions that we're doing and all the work that we're doing. How many books can I actually read for pleasure? And I said, I'm gonna read 10 books. You know, at the beginning of the year, I made that a goal, but I'm already like almost halfway there. You know, and we're in the first quarter, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to bump up, you know, that number. And so I think that during this time, I'm gonna focus on some reading and a mixture between pleasure and some tutorial type stuff. So like some you know, self-teaching type things. Maybe, you know, check out some screenwriting books that I've been wanting to check out for a while now. Go back and read some books that I read maybe back in like high school or college that now you know, where I'm at now creatively. And where I am as far technically, I'll have a greater appreciation for it. I like, for example, you know, this might sound like a cliche, but I do want to go back to check out A Hero with a Thousand Faces, you know, Joseph Campbell's huge book. And I think when I first read it, I didn't really have an appreciation for what I was reading. I knew what I wanted to get out of it. I wanted to understand the hero from a mythological perspective, but I didn't really get it because it's just such a dense reading. I think I'm probably going to crack that open again, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, do a lot of reading.
That's good. That's good. I think that's something that I know that I've been into lately, reading a lot of cinematography books and understanding the art of cinematography. But I think another thing that I know that you and I have also been doing in this downtime is not just reading, but writing.
Yes.
Writing scripts.
Yeah. It's perfect time. Editors and writers. This is the time. This is what we've been doing, is self-quarantining.
Right. Right. This is the bbest time for you right now. And the government is helping you self-quarantine.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're literally telling you go and write.
Right. And the things that you thought of years ago, put them down on paper, make it easy for yourself.
Yeah, go through some old notes,
stories,
and things like that.
Whatever it is. You got your family around you, those who love you can bounce ideas. I mean, you have a lot of opportunity right now to relax and think.
Yeah, actually, I love that. Thinking. We don't do enough time, enough of just think. Just stop everything and just think, you know, just to take a minute to kind of close off the distractions. You're in a place where you're, you know, you can't leave, right? So that's like we're quarantined. We're told to stay indoors. And this is coming from Boston, Massachusetts. It's not as extreme as San Francisco right now, but it's getting there. And so having the time to just think. I do a lot of my thinking in the shower, you know, it's a time for me. I don't know. I feel like it's just inside that perfect acoustics. My thoughts reverberate beautifully. And I think, I talk some things through, and I think them through, and ideas come when I'm there. But now I think I'm going to have a lot more time for thinking, and that is, thinking through old ideas, maybe pulling out some of those old cards and scene cards that at one point you thought you were killing, that darling you thought you were killing, and now you're pulling it out and you're thinking, okay, how can I look at this differently? Let me think this through, because at the time I had a very specific agenda for this scene or for this card or for this idea, and now I have the freedom and the time to think it from more perspectives. So yeah, I love that. Thinking for sure, and writing, and then turning that thinking into writing. Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And there's a lot of software out there that's going to help you just develop all that stuff. Once you feel like you're ready to put your thoughts on paper, there's software out there that will let you do that. One of the programs we use is Final Draft, and there's also
for screenwriting. Yeah. Once you get through the writing and you need something to help you actually get into script writing. Yep. Final Draft. Don't you use?
I do. I use something that actually worked very well for me. Casuality. Yeah. I think it's by Hollywood Works, or I forget the name right now off the top of my head, but I have a designer's mindset, creative, artistic mindset, and so I realized that I needed to put things down visually for me as bullets, creatively with colors and images, and my brain was able to process all my thoughts through this program a lot easier than other programs that is just very type heavy, and this is your screenwriting, so everything's type. But
it's a visual way.
It's a visual way.
It's a visual screenwriting approach.
Exactly. Yeah. And it worked for me. And
as a designer.
Right. And we were able to, finish up one of our feature films, and now it's rolling out,
So there's another one that's specifically for Mac. For those of you on Macintosh computers, it's Highland. And Highland is John August. He wrote, Go, Aladdin, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And he's got a phenomenal podcast, Script Notes. His software, Highland, although it is only specifically for Mac, it is doing pretty well, and they know what they're talking about. John August and Craig Mazin have a podcast together, and they talk about a little bit about they push and promote that software, and it's apparently really good. I haven't tried it personally myself. I've heard a lot of people praise it. I'm still sticking to Final Draft just because it's what I know.
Right, exactly. You do what works for you.
Yeah, Celtics is out there, or some people call it Celtics. Yeah. Nobody ever knows what it's called. I call it Celtics.
And then that's Studio Binder, which all allows you to, now that's vast. That gives you, when you get into production and all that stuff. So that goes deep. But these are all resources that are available out there to be. In reality, when you start putting your stories on these programs, you're taking it seriously. Yeah. You're taking the step of being like, I want to move forward and actually commit my time on this.
Yeah, and putting and crafting the story in the appropriate structure, and using the software that helps you to put it into appropriate structure. Yeah, and some people are really adamant and sticklers for structure, and although we're not really getting into that, it is important. It is extremely important for the structure to guide essentially, your writing, because once it comes down to the point where other individuals in the industry have to read this thing, it's in a structure that they can, that is industry standard, that all can read and understand. What else are you doing during COVID-19 quarantine?
So I think another thing I was doing is, as we were mentioning, tutorials, but particularly just learning the industry as a whole. There's a lot of resources out there. Seeing also what new technologies are being developed throughout the process. I know there's a YouTuber, also Instagram person, Cinematography Database, who's doing a lot of really innovative stuff.
Right out of Cambridge.
Yep. Medford, Cambridge.
Yeah, next door.
And he is developing Cinetracer, a program that allows you to virtually see your sets.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's really awesome. Right now it's on Steam, which is a online video game platform. You definitely should check it out because you can create your lighting and
PC,
and your
right?
equipment. For PC. No, I think it's also for Mac. I think Steam allows you to have it for Mac.
Okay.
And it's awesome. And he's now entering into the projection mapping, I believe, the camera mapping, where
it's wild.
You can set up a 3D environment, and you will be able to move the camera live, if I'm saying the terminology correct. But it's really interesting what's coming in the future, and the technology that will be available to us as filmmakers.
Yeah. So another thing that I think is important for us to consider and to think about, it goes without say, but I guess I'll say it anyway, is family, is connecting with family, calling those friends that family, neighbors, whoever, that might be alone during this time. The toughest thing about self-quarantining is that during times of crisis, we as humans, it's our natural instinct to want to come together during chaos and crisis and to seek one another, but we're being told to socially distance, and that's hard, especially for people that may be at home alone. So check in on them, give them a call and be like, hey, how are you doing? Do you have everything you need? Having a conversation, especially the elderly. I'm thinking about, like even my grandfather in Puerto Rico, he's 90 years old. And I know we've got family out there that are checking in on him, but like he might not be able to get to that grocery store to get his toilet paper. And just checking in on your elderly neighbors and seeing, it's like, hey, are you okay? Do you need anything? I'm going to the store. Can I bring you back something?
Yeah, I said, the coronavirus is bringing families together. It really is. I'm
waiting for that baby boom, for another baby boom.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I mean, it's time for families to, what I mean? I was saying, to those kids who are constantly on their phones and, it's time to connect. Coronavirus has done that. But I think that's true. Connecting with my wife, and I've been wearing this thing on for 2 weeks now, 3 weeks, because I have a baby girl that's still in the hospital, and so I've been traveling there, and that's been crazy. Trying to manage that. But it's been also it's been great to get close with family and just because that's everything. I mean, that's everything I feel like the Lord gives to us. It's everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I that's really it. I don't know that there's necessarily anything else. What I would suggest for others as far as what do I do during this time is treasure it. Don't see it as a punishment. I've read a lot of things on social media, people kind of lashing out with frustrations, but see it as a blessing. Don't see it as a punishment. Look into how to maximize this time. I think looking into some of the areas where there's lack in your life and applying some time to those areas, and just kind of doing a little bit of self-care in some of those areas, whether it's time with family, time with friends, with your parents, children, spouses, or if what we talked about even earlier, if it's a time to build yourself up in your craft, just make great use of the time. Make it productive, make it excellent. Even apply the, I'm going to say this because I am thinking about it and it's just haunting my thoughts, but apply the TB12 mentality to this time that you have, the hard work, the excellence, applying excellence. And I bring that up because
you just broke our heart.
We've been crushed in the middle of coronavirus where, Boston takes another slam at their heart. But you know what? So for those of you that don't know, I'm sure the whole world knows, Tom Brady officially came out today on his social media saying that he's not coming back to Boston. Boston's freaking out. I hope somebody's checked in on Julian Edelman. Somebody call Julian Edelman, make sure he's okay.
To go back to what you're saying, particularly about, the virus and family, this is a time where fear can grip your heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
the media, the information that's coming out can overwhelm you.
Yeah.
Step back, take a break, get away from it, and like Xavier said, connect. Get your mind off of these things, because you don't want it to overwhelm you and create. You're enclosed in your home, and you don't want the anxiety and the fear and the worry to fill your mind and your heart while you're in your home, and turning it to, arguments with your spouse and your children. It's just not a good. It's not a good recipe.
Yeah.
Fear, it will destroy you. And so, it's time to just step back. One of the things I forgot to mention is obviously the Word, spending time in the Word. That's just me personally. Want to spend time with the Lord and read the Scriptures, spend time with the Word, maybe do some worship. I don't know. But it has helped me, even listening to music scores. Like being hyped up when we're writing these scripts, listening to music scores. I think that was something that we love to do. There's nothing greater than listening to a score to inspire you to write these scripts.
So I am glad that you brought that up, because that brings us into our creators tip of the week. Creators tip of the week.
Cool.
Where we'll just give the audience a little tip, a little something that helps us in the creative process. I'll go first. My creatives tip of the week. You brought up scores. Mine is the score. I've been working on a project for a short film, a little commissioned project, and writing a script to a military piece in Afghanistan. It takes place, and I've been on the Zero Dark 30 soundtrack. Phenomenal.
Cool.
Phenomenal. A specific track. If you want to get into that suspense mode, if you have anything at all that you're writing suspense wise, and you're like, okay, I need something that's got that dum 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 dum,
right.
Gets the heartbeat type going. There's the first track on there. I had to look it up to make sure I had the name right, but "Flight to Compound" by Alexander Desplat.
It sounds cool.
Yeah, it's pretty intense, and so you put that on repeat. It'll get your heart blood, your blood rate going, and the blood pumping, and your heart going, and writing to that. It sets up a nice little tempo in your writing, and it helps you just kind of. As you're putting down your words, and you're trying to come up with some sort of a especially with dialogue, and you're working this musical tempo, this poetic flow of your dialogue, and you're writing to that type of a beat. It helps. So that is my creator's.
That's cool. I'll
tip
listen
of the week.
to it after this.
Yeah, you gotta.
I'll start thinking of new script ideas with that track. That's what you do, really. If you have no idea, you listen to a song, you'll get an idea.
Yeah.
Creative tip of the week. So I got a new app on my phone the other day. It's really cool. And because I'm a visual effects, I love 3D, I love motion graphics. That's kind of my, that's what I went to school for.
World, yeah.
And it's called Display.Land. And basically, maybe I'll pop in the logo, but basically what you do is, if you see that, you take a picture of anything that you want, and you record. It's almost like a video, and you can turn it into 3D. Just turn it into 3D. If I want to take a picture of the light that's above us, I just rotate all around it in different ways. Doesn't matter whether I'm close or far back. It'll register the distance, it'll register the geometry of it, and then boom, it'll turn it into 3D. So then you'll be able to pop that 3D object into your software.
That is a game changer.
Yeah, it's awesome. So it's called, let me
Does it limit?
Get out of here. Display.Land.
Does it limit the file size? Like, can you do 4K images?
Yeah, so it basically allows you to, however large the photo panning you have, it'll allow you to create. That'll be the bit size, how big it'll be. So you can scale it to 4K. I believe it's already at a large. If you're taking a picture of a building and you're just panning across that thing, that's probably going to be a large file.
Modeling is now that is changing the way.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Wow.
And the cool thing about it is that people throughout the world, it's like a social media platform. So people do it. They make
upload
their objects of their models available, and you can download it for free.
Oh man.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
3D
so Display.Land, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you can, connect with people. You can connect with me. I'm at Garcia. That's me. So
that's it.
I haven't done anything
you
yet.
You literally got the OG at Garcia name.
Yeah, it's a new app. It's just recently came out. But it's got people, posting their stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Sweet. All right. Well, that's it for this week
at
the Harvest. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Something that we are going to be doing moving forward is the Hans trailer review.
Yes.
And so we're going to be reviewing a mixture of some Hollywood trailers, some things that are either about to come out or have just been released. And if you have a film and you'd like to submit your trailer, you just have a brand new trailer, you want to get some feedback from our Hans trailer review on your trailer, send it our way. info@mountharvest.com. That's info@mountharvest.com. And we'll go through it and we'll pick out a good one and we'll have Hans have at it.
Oh yeah, he's
That's
awesome.
Gonna be fun.
He's a funny guy, and he knows his stuff.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Cool. All right, guys. Thank you.